So there was this one night in August, and I had gone out after work and was getting home super late. It was like 4 a.m. And there was a couple other people that were getting off the train at the same time as me, but they were all kind of going in the opposite direction. And it's not that I live in a bad neighborhood, but it's kind of desolate at 4 a.m. So I see this kid coming towards me up the street, and I just know he's gonna fuck with me, right? And he comes up behind me and acts as though he's got a gun, and he's like, "I'll shoot you." And I'm like, "No, you won't." And I turn around and leave as though it's just like over at that point. And he grabs my purse, but I'm not giving it up, right? I got a good grip on it. So he takes off running, and I fall backwards, and this kid's dragging me on the ground by my purse for like, I don't know, like 6 feet or something. He finally gets it and takes off running, and I like start heading home, and I'm like, what the, like, fuck, I hope one of my roommates is home so I can, like, you know, get in. And I turn the corner a couple times, and I'm heading up my street, and I see this kid running towards me with my purse, and I'm like, all right, what's up? Let's do this. And he comes at me, throws my purse in my hands, and starts apologizing. He's like, "I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, I've never done anything like this, I don't know what's going on." And he like collapses on the ground and is having like this asthmatic seizure. He's like hyperventilating and having a seizure, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I prop him up against this building, and I sit down with him for a second. I'm like, what's going on? You're like, you know, like, do you need me to call somebody for you? Like, all this stuff. And he's like in and out of like consciousness, and he realizes that I'm kind of like bleeding. My wrist got all scraped up from him dragging me, and he starts crying. He's like crying, and I'm comforting this kid. I'm like, yo, like, it's okay, I forgive you, it's fine, like, I won't call the cops, we're cool, like, you gave me my stuff back. And he's like freaking out about this, right? And so I'm comforting this kid, and I'm like, we're like sitting there, like, kind of having this conversation, and I'm like, let me get you something, let me get you some water or something, like, you know. So I go to the store and I get him some water and some like chunks of watermelon. I get back and I'm like, sit down with him, and I'm feeding him chunks of watermelon, and we're having like this, like, kind of having a conversation. And I realized that I've been out there with this kid for like 2 hours. It's like 6 in the morning at this point. The sun's coming up, and I'm like, you know, you're not gonna die, you're fine, like, I have my stuff, you're cool, like, I forgive you, we're good, I gotta go. And I turn to leave, and I'm like heading up the street, and he goes, "Hey, you think I could take you out sometime?" And I'm like, yeah, no, I gotta go. And so I leave, and I come home, and I'm kind of like trying to replay this in my head, and it's just too weird to wrap my head around. And I wake up later that day, and I go to the store, and I'm like walking up the street, and I'm like walking past this scene where this all went down, and like thinking that it's like too weird that this happened. And I see these like little watermelon chunks on the sidewalk, and I'm like, I can't even, like, that's it. Like, if it weren't for those little chunks of watermelon, it's like this would not have ever have even happened.